Well, today I've got a few reptile stories, snakes and gators. I got a couple funny ones. I'm sure y'all get a good laugh, and let's get into it. Just to clarify, I live in Florida, and Florida is full of water moccasins. So when I'm hunting, it's very common to see big water moccasins, little water moccasins. Come close to them. I'm not bothered by a water moccasin. I'm sure there's pain involved in a water moccasin bite. I don't want to get bit, but it's not something I'll worry about as being life-threatening. I take my kids hunting all the time, and I don't want my kids to get bit. So I do kill a few of them in areas where I take kids. So this first one, Tristan, which is my 14-year-old, he was a little bitty fellow. I don't remember his exact age, but he hadn't been walking good long. But at the time I worked at the mines, 3 on, 3 off. So on my days off, we'd be in the woods somewhere fishing, scouting, hunting, depending on the season, whatever. So this was late summertime, probably a month before archery season started, and I'm going to do a little scouting, and I'm just taking him with me. And a lot of times I'll carry him on my shoulders, or sometimes if the walking's decent, he'll walk. So we were walking down a kind of like the edge of a slough, and it was at one time years ago there was probably an old road there or something because there wasn't any trees. It was just little vegetation, but it was pretty well open dirt. But we'd had a hurricane or a tropical storm, I can't remember, come through anyway and blew some tree limbs down and stuff. So we're coming up to kind of a low spot, and there's water standing in the path we're walking. And anytime there's water, I look good, didn't see any snakes. And there was a little limb that had blown down, and it was hanging out of the edge of the water. So when we stayed on the dry to walk around the water, we went right beside the little limb. And I put him walking in front of me, just, going his pace, and I was just going slow. And as he got to the limb, a big moccasin came out and literally went between, like under his foot as he's stepping, and stopped. This moccasin's over at least 4 foot long. And he didn't see it. And I didn't want to say anything and make him stop or do anything to make him jump or scare him or anything like that. So I didn't say a word. I just let him take another step and get kind of away from the snake, and I jumped over and grabbed him. But if the snake would have wanted to bite him, it would have bit him. So that's one there I'll never forget. This next one is, I wasn't in the woods. I was here in the taxidermy shop, and I was mounting deer. So when I'm tanning my hides, they'll be in a freezer. I'll pull them out of the freezer and defrost them or thaw them out in the bottom of a refrigerator at a slow pace. Well, I had a guy drop off a rattlesnake, and it was like a 6.5 foot rattlesnake. It was a big one. I think it was 6 foot. But he dropped off a rattlesnake in a garbage bag, frozen. Well, I just took the bag off of the snake and set him. I have a wood shelf on the top of one of my refrigerators. I just set him right up on the wood shelf, and that was late that evening. So the next morning, I'll get up early and come bebopping in the shop, and I'm going to start tanning. So I grab the refrigerator door, sling it open, and bend down to go to the bottom. And as I did, that snake is right here, stone cold dead, frozen. But I'd forgot about him. And you talking about having a heart attack? I came back, about flipped over the table, slammed into the wall, almost killed myself. And it was terrible. So go ahead and laugh. This next one's another rattlesnake. So I was going in, it was like the week before turkey season, I believe. And I was going in a few places just listening before I started working. So I'd go park somewhere if I couldn't drive, and I'd run in a mile or 2 miles or whatever at listening time and pin birds, and then I was running back to the truck and getting here to work. So that's what I'd done. And I'd listened, pinned a few birds, and I was coming out, and they had burnt over the summer. So, I mean, it's real low, almost no vegetation, just dead snags and everything. So I'm really making good time. I'm trucking it fast as I can walk. And so I'm coming over top of a ridge, and I get 3 feet from a big rattlesnake, and she cools up. I stopped, and I wasn't in any danger of being bit or anything. Pulled out my phone and videoed, made a rattle, goofed off for a minute. Well, I was in a hurry. So when I got done with the video, I just went to Facebook, upload, said whatever I said, I don't remember, and then just killed my phone screen. I didn't go back to my home page, I just killed my phone screen. So I take off, I'm bebopping. I get about half a mile from the truck and my phone vibrated. So I pulled my phone out and opened the screen, and when I opened the screen, it was on that video that I just uploaded, and the snake's going, and my phone's at full volume, so I get it screen on. As I'm coming up, I look at the phone as I'm fast walking, and that rattling starts, and I thought I was about to step on another one. I almost did me a backflip trying to find where the snake was, tripping and falling, and then I realized I'm holding the snake in my hand. So there's your one you can laugh at. After I calmed down, recollect myself, I put my phone back up and take off walking again, and I had to cross a big flowing cypress. It was kind of dry, but it's normally waist deep, and it was only thigh deep to a little less than thigh deep probably. And I'm just trucking it across it, and it's pretty much open water, not really any bushes or anything. And I kind of come over a little hill, and I'm coming up on I'm almost through it, so I'm down to knee deep now. I come up over a little hill and drop off, and when I did, there was about a 9-foot gator laying there, and I scared it as much as it scared me, but it took off and I wasn't in any danger. But almost stepping on it and it taking off, and right after the snake, it was not a pleasant experience. I had me a few almost heart attacks there right in a row. I think I aged about 10 years. Probably where this gray comes from. So this next one was on a little piece of private I've had for years, and I believe it was early archery season or something, and me and a buddy didn't have anything to do. We went out there walking around, looking around, and maybe shoot a hog or something, and we're slipping up the edge of this grass pond, like on the edge of palmettos and gallberries, and just barely moving, looking. Like, I think it was like midday. We were more just looking around than anything, and I saw the grass move, 2 foot in front of me. And I kind of looked down, and I was like, oh, it's a rabbit. And I just see this round brown thing that looked like it was a rabbit. Didn't study it too much. Like, I wonder why he's not running. And I get right over there close to him, and then he kind of moves a little bit, and I realize it's a moccasin about that long, about that big around. And holy crap. And I have my kids out there running around at the time, running around and stuff all the time. So I found me an old pine log, and it took me about 15 minutes to get that one killed. I was trying not to tear him up too bad, but I was hitting him and trying to break his back, and I couldn't break his back. Like, I'm talking about, I was swinging a 20-pound log, and he was just kept on coming, cool, and didn't even phase him. It took me a while to get that one killed. I can't remember the exact measurements now, but I should have kept the snake. Looking back, I wish I would have, because he barely missed the world record. He was light, like he almost had the length, but he was a few pounds light. So this one is I was fishing the river when it was bad low. We had a drought, probably I can't remember now, but back like 2015ish, something like that. We had a severe drought, and there was sections of the river that was bone dry. There was no water in the Withlacoochee River. But I would park the truck, and I might walk 2 miles. I'd get in there to them holes, I'd fish a hole, and I'd walk half a mile and fish a hole, and then the fishing was just unbelievable because the only water was in them deeper lakes. And so I'm walking dry riverbed, going from lake to lake basically. And it's summertime, vegetation's growing up, can't see much walking out to the riverbank. They're walking out to the bank of the lake. So anyway, each time I was seeing gators everywhere. Each time, that's the only place they could be was in that water or on a hill. So each time I would come up to a lake, I'd kind of look good, make sure there was nothing right here at me. Well, I saw a 10, 12 footer over here, and there was like a 10 footer over here, a few 9s, a bunch of small ones. And I was throwing a topwater torpedo. So and there's hyacinths and lily pads on the edge of the river on the lake. So I kind of eased out in them about thigh deep and flipped down them. And when I did, there was about a 10-foot gator. Just started to ease in my way, so I was just keeping an eye on him. What is this idiot doing? And I kind of, hey, hey, and he kept on coming. I kept fishing, kept my eye on him. He gets to about 20 yards. And I said, well, that's about enough of that. I threw a stick or something, just, hey, hey, trying to get him to go. And he wouldn't do nothing, just kept on coming. And started speeding up. Well, when that one started speeding up, the one that was over here like 50 yards started coming. And then they're going to have a race to me. So I got my fishing pole, and I wear a fanny pack tackle box with a rod holder, my knife and pliers and all that stuff. And that's all I had that day. So I can move quick, but I had a 38 in my holster on my side. So, well, I don't think I need to shoot him, but I'm gonna move. So when I turned and went to go back toward the bank, and I don't know if it was me moving or the sound, just the sloshing or whatever, here they come full speed, and they made it. Like by the time I took off running, and by the time I was getting to the edge of the water, they were up where they could run. So I'm talking about they're in this deep of water, just running full speed, both of them coming right at me. And I said, well, I was thinking to myself, all this is happening quick. But I'm thinking to myself, there's no way they're going to chase me through the woods. But the danger of running through woods and cypress ponds when there's vegetation that's waist tall is the cypress knees that are this tall. You're going to trip over them. So I dropped my rod and everything. When I spun, I just chunked it and just took off running. And I'm jumping, trying, I don't want to shuffle my feet, so I'm jumping, trying not to land on a cypress knee. And I trip and kind of catch myself and go. Well, they chased me about 30 yards out through the cypress pond on the hill. And I finally went far enough, I guess they gave up. Well, they just turned and go back into the water, and I snuck back over there and got my pole, but I didn't fish that lake anymore. I think the snake that I worry about the most is here in Florida is the pygmy rattler, because you can't hear them, and they're a whole lot harder to see. Most of them are small. So I was turkey hunting, and that's one thing I always do generally, and this was 10 years ago. Whenever I go to sit down, like even if I'm crawling up on a turkey or making a move, whenever I go to sit down, most of the time you'll kind of squat, put your hand down, then put your butt down. So anytime I'm checking at the base of the tree, no pygmy rattler, and then I'm sitting down. Well, got a little close to this turkey, and I'm almost belly crawling, and I get almost in shotgun range, and I want to get up on there's a big old oak tree. I wanted to get up on it. So I'm kind of looking, making sure the turkey's not going to break because he's coming. Making sure he's not going to get to where he can see me, and I don't look good when I set up. So I kind of just glanced, didn't see a snake, got up on the tree, aimed, got ready. Well, the turkey ended up not coming where I could shoot him. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to make another move. I set my gun down, put my hands down, and scoop my butt up next to the tree. And I don't remember if I sensed something or what, but I looked down, and he wasn't but about that long. But a pygmy rattler was coiled up, this far from my butt, and probably had been the whole time. Could have bit me at any time. And the only I guess life-threatening snake bite I've ever seen was from a pygmy rattler. We were bow hunting, and a buddy of mine, this was back when we were like preteens, saw a big pygmy rattler and thought it was a hognose, and went to catch it, and it bit him right there on the hand. And we were out in the middle of nowhere. They ended up having to airlift him to Atlanta. Like he was in bad shape, split his arm all the way up to relieve the pressure, and it was nasty. I don't like pygmy rattler bites. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but moccasins will breed in an orgy, I guess you would call it. They'll be like a basketball-sized ball of them, all wadded up breeding. I've seen it a handful of times. I've been told that's what they're doing. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. But anyway, me and a buddy of mine were fishing, drifting down the river, catching stump knockers, and I'm at the front of the boat. He's at the back running a little like 12-foot John boat. So we're just basically drifting. We're not running any kind of power. We're drifting, and using a paddle or a pole, just pushing off. Current's decent, and the river's only about 10, 12 yards wide here. So we're kind of bumping trees going through. Well, the river makes a hard turn, and at that turn there's a big old cypress tree, and it's got the big ball where water's just eroded it, and it's all just a tangle of roots and everything. So coming up to it, we're just fishing, and we'll hit it and then direct the boat and go the way we need to go. So as the boat's about to make contact, you know, I'm fishing this way, and the boat's about to make contact here. I kind of glanced over, and there's that ball of moccasins right above the boat on the top of that pepper stump. And the boat hits, and they all just start coming off and landing on the boat, in the boat, everywhere. We were tripping over each other getting to the back of the boat, but luckily they all fell on the deck and stuff and just went off in the water, but I won't forget that one. Well, that's a few of my reptile stories. I hope y'all enjoyed them. Remember to keep an eye out when you're in the woods or even around the house. I've had a lot of big snakes come up and get under my porch, moccasins, and keep an eye out where your kids play. I try to keep the yard mowed good right around the house for that reason. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.